Is the left stick? Okay, the D-pad doesn't work. You have to use left stick. And the only setting is to quit the game? Okay, I guess not. I want to play. Hello, it's me, Lee, and this is 428 Shibuya Scramble. This seems like it's gonna be a good game. I love these kind of games when they're done right, and I know that this is gonna be one of them because this game has humor in it. So I'm really looking forward to this. Quit game. No! I want to play it. Why do you make square accept? Select a bookmark to save to. The first one, then. Would you like a guide to gameplay to be displayed? We recommend that first-time players select yes. Well, yes then. Sure. Why not have help? Bad ends. The story is a work of fiction. Named character, places, incidents, either products of the author's imagination or used fictitiously. Any remnants to actual persons may actually fade to black and never be seen again. Spike Junsoft. What's happening? Got some great music to it. It's just jamming. It makes me think of Detective Conan. Or like the early 2000s spy movies. When they show them infiltrating or just walking through an airport in a business suit. Is that a soccer? I thought at first that was a tennis court. That's a soccer. They have a soccer field. That's really small, though. How are they going to get their steps in for the day? It should be at least a quarter-mile large. So they can put it in a stadium. Like, there's so much stuff on the roofs. I have no idea what I should be looking for, but I am enthralled. Oh, it's speeding up some now? Is that a person on that roof? No, that's an air conditioner. What is this? A blimp? I was about to say a hot air balloon, but it's going sideways. That wouldn't make any sense. A hostage situation. We're inside a police car, the back. We're a criminal. That burlap sack has to be uncomfortable. Like, if you've ever felt burlap before, you know that that's rough. He's been deceiving. He's been deceiving. It's a good thing they left a hole in the back for him to see out of. Say he can text. Hey, I was just knocking on the side to let you know that you've been kidnapped. That's funny if she was like knocking for help and then he's just there like, hey, I'm kind of tied up at the moment. And it looks like he just blew up too. He just blew up. It's like, excuse me, can you help me? I'm in a bit of a rough patch right now. And the guy's just tied up in the back like Yeah, I'm a bit tied up at the moment. Maybe you can come back later. It's our story to tell. Select character. As you play through the game, the various mechanics will be explained. In 428, you follow the stories of multiple protagonists at once, overlapping stories. Your decisions impact their experiences as you read the story. What does the day hold in store? Their fate is in your hands. Hopefully you can see them all through to the end. To start, you have two characters, Shinya Kano and Achi Indo. Indo! Let's begin by checking out Kano's story. I thought this... Kano? Wait. I thought that this guy would be Indo. Here we go. Let's go, Achi. No, wait, Kano, sorry. Sorry, I'm not good at reading things that are right in front of my face. Just 2 more minutes to go. Oh, you have it down to the second. Kano noted the time again on his watch, scowling at the slow creep of the second hand. The time was 9:58. He had trouble reading. Furrows of consternation creased his forehead. He wasn't nervous, but he knew better than to expect everything to go smoothly. He really wanted to get off of work on time. Keeping a level head was proving rather difficult. There was no room for failure. He's waiting in line to order food. Lives were on the line here. Still pretty accurate. I mean, the guy gotta have a job. The guy behind the counter making the sandwich. He eyed his surroundings. He saw a bunch of people stuck in time. Was the perp really going to show up? When? Where would he be coming from? How would he make his approach? The Shibuya Scramble was as packed as ever. A throng, one singular throng of people crossing this way, and that blissfully unaware of the dozens of detectives hidden in its midst. Well, I imagine they're all probably dressed the same with the same haircut, so they're probably really noticeable. All right, another minute and a half. Kano glanced down at his watch yet again. A mere 30 seconds had passed. Detective Kano had been with the enforcement arm of Shibuya's criminal affairs section for a year now, but he had never been a part of an operation this big before. He eyed the young woman standing beside the statue up ahead. She was small enough to get lost in the crowd and carried a nondescript attaché case. Attaché. She distracted him from his watch. Hitomi Asawa, age 19. The attaché case in her hands contained a full 50 million yen in cash. 50 million yen? Oh yeah, their bills go up to like 50,000 yen, right? So, okay. I guess that would fit. Yesterday, her twin sister Maria had been kidnapped. Oh, your parents named you Hitomi Asawa, and then your twin sister's named Maria Asawa? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Ave Maria, yeah, alright. This was the ransom payment. The culprit had called Hitomi last night at home, referring to her by name. I imagine that showed up in the phone thing. Like, you call someone and it shows their name. And telling her to wait by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya. Oh, the Hachiko statue? I like that. It was almost time, but nothing. Kano was staring fixatedly at the second hand on his watch, when a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk murmured just loud enough for him to hear, Stop looking at your watch, you pretentious brick. Come on, Kano, quit looking at your watch so much. What if the kidnapper sees you? Kano tried to look nonchalant as he lifted his eyes, but the scruffy character continued. You're too nervous. Just relax already. You're the one acting suspicious, Sasayama. Kano frowned. It's like he just knows the homeless man by name, as many police officers do. Why would some homeless guy be talking to me? To panhandle for money! Yuji Sasayama was the senior officer of the Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Affairs Division, 5 years older than Kano. Some words and phrases in the text may appear blue. These are called tips. Press square to underline the tip and then press X. This will let you read some extra info relating to that word or phrase. There are some tips containing general knowledge and ones that are in 428 specific. These are marked with the bleh and the bleh respectively. Okay. Tip. No, tip. Tip. No, tip. Highlight the tip. You can go back and read sections that you've read already. Cool. But I wanted to look at the tip. The tip, though. Okay, back. Tip. No! No, my tip. Let me go back to my tip. Oh, I can't go back at all. What is wrong with this game? Okay, there we go. Let's see. You always went a little overboard with the disguises. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Oh, it's circle instead. Great. Official name, Shibuya Central Precinct, responsible for the safety of approximately 200,000 people in 32 neighborhoods, including Uehara, Uji-Sandachiko, Ugarawa-shoko, Isabu, Isabanambashi, etc., etc., and so on and so forth. I have them all listed on Wikipedia. Let's go back now. He claimed it was all part of the job, but word around the station was that he just liked playing dress up. Hey pal, spare some change. Sasayama lurched onto his feet and shuffled close to Kano. It looks like he's fondling his shoulder, but sure, he's really shuffled in close. Hey, knock that off! Fitting for the part, Sasayama reeked pretty badly. Well, ain't so suspicious now, huh? He clung to Kano with mock camaraderie, despite the younger man's attempts to pull away. Come on, Sasayama, cut it out! He said while laughing. Sasayama's confidence rattled Kano's nerves. Of course, there was good reason for that confidence. This was Kano and Sasayama's jurisdiction, but they were positioned a good distance from where the handoff was to take place. Now it lets me do it. Jurisdiction, a particular region over which an organization or a member thereof has control or authority, refers to the areas under the jurisdiction of various police precincts. The Metropolitan Police Department at the pinnacle of Tokyo's police hierarchy has vastly more authority than local precincts, but since many officers wind up needing to work with both, the outright rivalry between the two isn't as notable as TV dramas make them seem. I'm sorry, but the guy's thoughts, they're just so jumbled. The statue of Hachiko was surrounded by elite investigators from one of HQ's special investigation teams. Sometimes two tips will appear. Repeatedly change to which words are underlined. Highlight the tip and you can read it! Oh my god! To return to reading the story, go back. Bronze statue of a dog erected in 1934. The dog was famous for loyally waiting for its absent master. Well known as a meetup spot outside of Shibuya Station. Other popular meetup spots at the station are the display car for the original Tokyo 5000 series, commonly known as the Green Frog, and the Moyai statue by the west entrance. That's why I know the Hachiko statue. I like that statue of a dog. That's awesome. Other two I don't know so much about, but I like the dog statue. And HQ, headquarters, of course. Here refers to the Metropolitan Police Department, the Tokyo Police Section, responsible for managing 101 precincts within the city. That's a lot of dogs. Japan is the largest police organization. In addition to policing Tokyo, it has various other duties and authorities for maintaining public order in the capital. Kano and his partner were just there to provide backup if the kidnapper attempted to flee. Look, just try to relax. We'll be fine. Sasayama gave him a wink. A moment later, the radio squawked in Kano's ear.
What? All right, everyone, it's time. Keep your eyes open.
Yeah, that voice fits. The voice coming in through the earpiece was Hoji Kuze, HQ's operations director. The individual responsible for directing the investigation in the event of a serious crime. If a task force is set up, the operations director is the one who assumes command. TV dramas and other fictional accounts often feature some young prodigy from the MPD as operations director, but in reality, the position usually goes to a proven veteran. Well, yep, I would say so. Until last year, he had been the Shibuya Precinct's head detective and Kano's supervisor. We don't know when the perp is gonna make contact. Don't let your guard down. Kuze's low, gravelly voice echoed in Kano's ear. You don't sound too worried, Kuze. Kano winced at Sasayama's words. How could the man be so nonchalant and he's just talking to him through his earpiece? The appointed time had come and gone. Something should be happening. What? Kano smacked himself in the thigh to release a little tension. The sound was louder than he intended. Though the suit hid his muscular physique, it did little to dampen the noise. He's just flexing the entire time that he's monologuing all this in his head. He needed to stay focused. He might be called to action at any moment. The department handled abduction cases according to a certain standard investigation procedure. Was it an attempt to extort money, or was the motive something more personal? The answer to that question determined how they deal with the criminal. And based on the investigation team's initial findings this time around, they probably weren't dealing with a professional kidnapper. Still, in all likelihood, it was someone with a long rap sheet. They just busting out rhymes non-stop in the criminal underground. Probably someone who knew the family, but so far they had few leads on who might bear such a grudge. With the situation so unclear, the plan was to apprehend whoever came to make the handoff on sight. On sight, I say! If the culprit ran off with the money, there'd be no guarantee the hostage's well-being. Of the hostage's well-being, still nothing. Sasayama muttered. There he is! He's here! How do you automatically know that? Kuze broke in, his voice spiking to an excited chirp. He's here! Kuze's particular vocal quirk. Whenever he gets overly flustered, excited, or panicked, he slips into a childish register, prone to babbling and pitching his voice. Subject is a young male in his 20s.
wearing a bandana and orange hoodie.
Jose, normally calm and stoic, was now squawking like an excited child. That only happened when he got particularly worked up. Kano and Sasayama steeled themselves. Yeah, that's definitely the guy, yeah. They could see the subject now. A 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her. Alright, people, get ready to tackle the absolute shit out of this man! I want a 20-car pileup right now! Be ready to grab this guy. Jose was stationed in the mobile command center, not far from the intersection, keeping tabs on the situation via radio surveillance from the camera team, ready to floor it and run this guy over at any moment. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi, who was very much enthralled by the conversation. Detectives watched, uncertain. Was this really the kidnapper? That's gotta be him! You encounter sections like these during the story. These choices will change the lives of other people in addition to changing your own fate. Use the D-pad that doesn't work to make your choice, and then press X, which is actually square. The current choice will not impact you or any of the other protagonists. Really, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Take a step forward, then hesitate, so don't do anything. Or don't do anything. Don't do anything or don't do anything. It's coming right for us! Yes, that was him all right. Kano took a step forward. Hold it! Sasayama yanked him back. Don't be so hasty. But just watch for a minute. Sasayama gestured with a nod. With Hitomi steadfastly ignoring him, the young man slunk away. Man. The guy's face. The guy's face. The Sasayama. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. Why is this highlighted as a tip? Succeeding at meeting someone on the fly like this takes a special knack. Looks are also important. Sometimes, of course, the person trying to get your attention out of nowhere is just trying to make a sales pitch for a product or nearby establishment. At first glance, it isn't always easy to tell the difference. You don't say. It looked pretty obvious to me, but sure. I mean, she is pretty crude and all. She's pretty cute and all. He had a point. Yeah, a good point, yeah. Though, of course, something in Sasayama's voice made Kano brace himself. He's about to make a comparison, isn't he? She's got nothing on my Mi-chan. Oh, okay. He has a bunch of pictures of his kid in his wallet, doesn't he? He's got the whole stack in his wallet, doesn't he? The whole flip-out stack, like in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, right? Mi-chan was Sasayama's wife. Oh, his wife, not his kid? Oh, okay. They'd gotten married just last month. I thought it was his kid. Let me tell you, Kano, married life is the best. You gotta hurry up and give it a try for yourself. Yeah, I'll just go to the local supermarket and get a marriage. Yeah. I'm sure they have them in stock. This was Sasayama's favorite topic lately, and Kano was getting more and more fed up with it. I'm sure it had nothing to do with his facial expression. Sasayama, come on, just knock it off already, okay? The phrase had become part of a common refrain of his since the department partnered them. Fine. Let's talk about your girlfriend then. Okay, fine. I won't talk about marriage. How are you and your girlfriend doing? Huh? No, you can't be serious. Sasayama leaned in close again. What's she like? We're not having this conversation. Kano muttered, looking away. Ah, come on! Sasayama set his hand on Kano's chest, still playing the homeless troublemaker. Show me your phone. Who keeps his phone in their chest pocket? Who does that? Let me see your lock screen, huh? Sasayama pawned for the phone. You gotta pick on your girl on your lock screen, yeah? I do not, but he did. And it was scary how on the mark Sasayama's instincts were. Wait, he really has his phone in his chest pocket? Hey, cut it out. We're in the middle of an investigation. I am investigating, Sasayama chuckled as he plucked the phone from Kano's pocket. Why would you keep it in an easily pickpocketable spot, dude? Why would you do that? His face scrunched up with astonishment as he looked at the lock screen. Oh yeah, this game is old. That's why it's a flip phone. The heck is this? It's not. Ain't this Masasami Nagahama? Ooh, clue me in on this. A national star tends to play the heroine on national morning soap operas or in national historical dramas. Her songs have been a series of national hits. And she's even slated to host the year-end national singing competition program. Everything about her is national. Larger-than-life personality, too, I'm hoping. Oh, yeah, it's his girlfriend. Yeah, as you can tell, she's very attractive from the picture. Kano realized he had to bite the bullet. No, that's my girlfriend. No shit! He just said, he knows that already, dude. Her name's Rumi, and she's... Sasayama cut him off. You're telling me this ain't Masasami Nagahama, the famous actress? Because this right here is Masasami Nagahama. I'm the one with the phone looking at it. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, dude. You're really gonna lie to me right now. Like I said, you sly old dog, you trying to make like you're dating Masasami Nagahama. He just tried to correct you. I'm not. I mean, I guess Rumi does kind of look like her. Sasayama let out a huff. For real? You really think I'm gonna fall for that? There's nothing to fall for, I swear! Just look at me, in my eyes! Sasayama scowled, unconvinced. Alright then why don't you marry her? If it's really not... God, I'm sorry, but this is just... It is making me laugh too much. Alright, then why don't you marry her? If she's really not Miss Magahami Nagasama, what was her name? Well, what was her name? If it's really not Masasami Nagahama, well, why don't you marry her then if it's not her? Kano stammered, but he had no answer. If it's not this national actress, why don't you just marry her then? Yeah, sure, just pick someone off the street. Why don't you marry her? The truth was, he would have happily married her already if she wasn't a national award-winning actress. But there were obstacles that needed to be overcome. What, does she need she needs to win an Emmy first? Okay, playtime's over. Let's focus on the job. Sasayama handed back Kano's phone and turned his gaze back to Hitomi, who was still there, right? Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh. But his shoulders did feel looser. Maybe Sasayama had been trying to relieve a bit of the tension. Maybe he should be grateful. Maybe he should be. By now, several minutes had passed since the guy with the papers had gone away. Off into the distance, he peered at Hitomi, and the strain on her face was visible. In addition to the weight of the attaché case by itself with 5,000 10,000 yen bills, it held way close to 6 kilos. Dang, you know how many pounds of money you have? Her slender arms must have been getting tired. Still, she refused to set the case down. She wasn't taking any chances with her sister's life. The kidnapping case had begun the day before, around 7 p.m. This is NPD Bitch Batch. The Shibuya precinct is reporting a missing person believed to be an abduction. Well, if they're missing, then, yeah. In Japanese law, the act of indirectly luring or deceiving someone into the control of a third party is known as kidnapping. Wow, they just used the definition? Using forcible threats or violence to achieve the same result is known as abduction. Oh, okay then. I spoke too soon. Subject is Maria Osawa, a 19-year-old student at Meteorama Academy. Last seen at the LL Diner near campus. A man was allegedly seen forcing her into a car nearby. Just like trying to put one of those like trying to put one of those snake in a cans back in. Them exploding snake in a can, just trying to force it back in. Trying to force her into the car, like, ah! I imagine he was yelling very, very loudly as he was doing it too, just very noticeable all around. All officers in the vicinity report to the scene at once. Kano and Sasayama had been working a burglary case in Jingayume's 5th district when they got the call. So they immediately dropped it and was just like, the burglar can have it. The two arrived at LL Diner at 7:15 p.m. At roughly the same time, several other officers showed up to secure the area, blocking off entry to nearby roadways and monitoring the surrounding establishments. Wow, he looks different. Sasayama looks different. Inside the restaurant, Kano and Sasayama were met by the girl who reported the kidnapping. It was the victim's twin sister. Would you like a sketch to help you find her? Hitomi. Could you tell us about when Maria was taken, started from the very beginning? Kano said, keeping his voice low. My sister and I. We were supposed to go to a party together today. Hitomi was trembling, her voice hoarse. Excuse me, my voice is getting hoarse too. But I messed up the time. I showed up right at 7, an hour later than I was supposed to. How? How are you late? Do you not have a watch? Not like Kano has, that's down to the second. So Maria had gone alone to the party. A mixer for locals and exchange students. Hitomi arriving late had showed up just in time to glance out through the restaurant window and see her sister getting shoved into a car. She described the vehicle as a blue station wagon of Japanese make. I see a Japanese-made vehicle in Japan. Please tell me more about this car. Why? Why would something like this happen to her? Hitomi held back her tears, but she was shaking all over. Did you get a look at the kidnapper? Yes, it was a man, middle-aged. I saw nothing else about him. There was another eyewitness, Leland Palmer. I guess he likes iced tea. He identified himself as a lecturer at Hitomi and Maria's school. That's a fun name for a school. I saw two. It's like Hitomi says. I heard Hitomi cry out, and so I went to look out the window. And his Japanese was halting, as if he hadn't been in the country very long. And I think that maybe the kidnapper was working alone. Leland explained that he had seen the man shove Maria into the back seat and then clamber into the driver's seat. Wow, I'm learning so many new words. If he had an accomplice, wouldn't they have been driving? But wouldn't you need someone in the backseat also, I guess, to hold her in place? Perhaps? Oh, wait, then why would you go around? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Neither Hitomi nor Leland had got a good look at the suspect's face, but you knew that he was middle-aged. Kano was interviewing others who had been on the scene, looking for other potential witnesses, when his phone rang. It was Hoshio Kajiwara, one of the senior detectives. The more senior you are, the more difficult it gets me to pronounce your name, I guess. We've set up a task force for the investigation. Get back to the station once you have a handle on the situation there. Once you have a handle on it, make sure to weld it on there really good. Make sure it's nice and firm, slap it, be like, that's not going anywhere. Barely half an hour had passed between the time the kidnapping was reported and the time the task force began operation. Roughly 150 people are working on the case in the Shibuya Precinct's conference room. How do you fit that many people in a room? The main force at work is HQ's first Special Investigation Unit. Additionally, other detective sections, a riot squad, and investigators from neighboring precincts have been assembled. Okay, I know that they're probably like on call. Like they're on a multi-call or whatever, and there's probably only like 10 people in the room and like everybody else is on a call, but still. It says that there's 150 working the case inside the room. That's what it says, okay? When Kano and Sasayama got back to the precinct station, Kuze had already arrived from HQ. He had informed them that a response team had been formed to investigate the victim's home. In a case where someone has been abducted for ransom, it is often difficult to resolve the situation without cooperating with the victim's family. You know, someone's got to pay the ransom, but but the family can also be a hindrance in making an arrest. To help guide the family actions, to help guide the family's actions to the bank, a response team is assembled and stationed at the victim's home, led by an investigator with the proper training. Kano could feel a particular tension in the air. Unfamiliar NPD detectives scurried to and fro around the Shibuya offices. He pulled one of them aside to get a quick update. "What's the update?" he yelled menacingly in their face. They're like, "Here's the update, we have this picture." An hour had now passed since the kidnapping. There had been one new development. The perpetrator had made a threatening call to the victim's home. He said the following: "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko in Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit." Wow, that was definitely said threateningly. That's a cool banana you got there, dude. Kajiwara from the precinct was put on the response team, along with the detectives from elsewhere who had received special training in abduction cases. Normally, a local precinct detective wouldn't have gone undercover in a victim's home. Kuze, however, had decided that having a knowledgeable local was crucial and had sent Kajiwara along. The detectives disguised themselves as delivery people and movers to make their way inside without arousing much suspicion. "You know, my daughter just got kidnapped and I feel like rearranging the furniture. What's so suspicious about that, Arriving at 8:30, the response team had come prepared to run a trace if the kidnapper contacted the family a second time. The act of pinpointing the source of an incoming phone call. The police are not allowed to do this independently, of course not. Without oversight, they must go through a formalized process that includes securing the cooperation of the phone company. In the past, conducting the trace itself would take time, but nowadays acquiring the location can be practically instantaneous, I assure you. A quick in and out adventure. But there were no further calls. Dun dun dun. How many times is the game gonna save? Kano checked his watch again. 20 minutes had now passed since the time designated for the ransom handoff. The kidnapper had yet to appear. Crap! Do you think we might have spooked them? He wondered aloud. Well, maybe now you did. Hey, calm down. Stay calm. Sasayama scanned the passing throng. The throng! They're thronging about, and you're just making them spooked, Sasayama said. He's just playing with us. Why'd this guy even pick this place? Kano voiced the question he had been asking himself ever since he heard the kidnapper's demand. Is because he likes dog statues. Sasayama shrugged. Figure he must want to blend in with the crowd, nab the money, and disappear before anyone even knows he's here. That'd be my guess. In that case, why not pick Shinjuku or Ginza? You know, those places. You definitely know them. I do too. There's no point in me explaining anything about them. You know everything about them. So do I. Let's just skip over it. The big crowd didn't just benefit the kidnapper after all. It also allowed the police to use the sea of people to conceal their own operation. Right now, there were 50 detectives stationed within a 50-foot meteor radius of where Hitomi stood. 50? I thought it was like 20 before. They're multiplying. The kidnapper would be taking a major risk if his plan was to nab the ransom money and run. That's what bothered Kano. Any criminal with half a brain would know better than to do a handoff in front of Hachiko. I mean, couldn't they just drive a car in front and, like, pick up the briefcase and just drive away? I mean, sure, they'd hit pedestrians, but, I mean, wouldn't that be what, could that be what they're gonna do? You're overthinking things, pal. You do this all the time, Sasayama grumbled. No, I'm not. Kano reached into his pocket and pulled out his notepad. Whoa, it's seen better days. His Dick diary. Oh, yes. Yeah. This was Kano's Dick diary. Why is this not a highlighted tip? I have a question. Why is Dick diary not highlighted as the tip? Which he always kept close at hand. It looks like it's in his hand right now, but close is another word used to describe it. Yes, yes. Sasayama rolled his eyes. This again. That thing again. I was close. Kano ignored him, flipping through the notepad pages. Aha! Here it is. Look at it. Dictum. Dictum 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. Yes. It was a favorite saying of Kyuzo Tatano? Wait, doesn't Tatano mean detective? An assistant inspector from the Shibuya precinct. Tatano was the kind of detective Kano aspired to be. For the current operation, he had been placed in charge of Hitomi's personal safety. That's why I'm as far away from her as possible. He was in position to defend her as soon as the ransom had been handed off. Of course, Hitomi hadn't been informed of how much protection she was under. We wouldn't want her to feel safe. There was a risk that she acted too secure. It might alert the kidnapper. I think Tatano has the right idea. Sasayama snorted quietly. Maybe. I mean, he is a great detective. Don't get me wrong, but... I mean, he's not me. But do you know how many irrelevant things there are to consider? Again, Kano ignored him. It didn't matter if no one else understood. Kano had faith in Tatano, both as a detective and an individual. He had first witnessed Tatano's brilliance during a standoff at a financial company 3 years earlier. A man had shut himself in an office, splashing gasoline everywhere and threatening to set the place ablaze. I mean, he probably told him that, hey man, you're in the place too, so not a good idea. While others hesitated, Tatano unflinchingly doused himself with gasoline and strode into the building, where he managed to talk the men down and secure the scene. Wow. The others had been awestruck by Tatano's actions, and Tatano probably got rolled up for that, I imagine. And Kano, who at the time had been content to be a run-of-the-mill policeman, had found it to be quite inspiring. I mean, that is definitely the look of inspiration right there. Definitely not surprised and being like, what on earth are you doing, dude? Still, you know... The banana! It's back! The more irrelevant something seems to be, the more relevant it is, or however it went. Sasayama murmured under his breath. As great a detective as Tatano is, it's not like anyone else in the world has ever heard of him, he said, eating a banana. I suppose not, Kano said. So... yeah, just get a close-up of that banana. Only time anyone ever hears a cop's name is if he's caught up in some scandal or killed in the line of duty. I mean, it doesn't really seem fair, does it? Kano just shrugged. It was a strange definition of unfair, really. I mean, you got celebrity chefs and celebrity hairdressers and stuff. So how come no celebrity gumshoes, you know? There's Detective Conan. There's Detective Conan. There's him. And probably only him. Oh, yeah, and... The English guy, whose name I can't think of, Jacques Cousteau. There's Jacques Cousteau. Look, please. Can you just focus on what we're doing here and stop eating that banana? Kano rubbed his eyes and then turned his attention back to Hitomi. What's the matter? Didn't sleep? Not enough, I guess. Did you eat? I didn't have time. Would you like half a banana? Between bringing in supplies for the base of operations, readying the team's vehicles, photocopying hundreds of documents and various other tasks, Kano had barely slept the previous night and hadn't gotten a meal in either. What have you been doing? Okay, I was waiting for it to say a book before I'd highlight this, but let's read it now. A base of operations is usually set up in a large room at the precinct. Such as an auditorium. The MPD and precinct investigators assemble there, and communications equipment, investigation resources, and such are brought in. Because of the scale and scope of these activities, newspapers reporters can be liable to notice. And so, in cases such as kidnapping, where the victim's personal safety is at stake, the flow of information is tightly controlled by killing all of those noticey reporters who try to ruin the job. Wow. Isn't that something? I don't think they should go that far, but if it's to control the flow of information, then who am I to stop them? I don't know the information. Nothing about it. Sasayama puffed out his chest like a gorilla, ready to beat it. Saving up my energy for today. So you were sleeping. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. I mean, he's dressed as a homeless guy.
There he is!
Huze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. A man in his 20s. Oh, sorry.
A man in his 20s wearing a sleeveless red jacket. He's carrying a garbage bag.
A young man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He strode towards her, a sinister look on his face. He didn't match Hitomi's description, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper had hired some young street punk to snatch the ransom payment. Just profiling the absolute crap out of this guy. That our guy? What do you think, Kano? Sasayama whispered.
Yeah, I think that's gotta be him.
This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. Don't know how it got there. He bent his knees, ready to act fast. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, banishing the stiffness that began to take hold. Could this be the culprit? But you just said it was! Or perhaps... The young man tried to snatch the briefcase from Hitomi, but she clung to it with desperate strength. It was him! The detectives rushed in and dogpiled him. Whoa, hey, what the hell? The young man cried out frantically and tried to dart away, but the officers closed him, forcing him bodily to the ground. Forcing him bodily to the ground? You can use that word that way? Okay. Target secured! Target secured! Oh, jeez, I think we're gonna have another suspect on the scene. I think we've got another suspect on the scene.
Eek! He's taking the ransom!
Huze's hysterics make Kano spin around. Sure enough, there was a foreign-looking man sprinting away, attache case in hand. The mob of detectives scrambled to pursue. Before Kano could react, most of them had run off, leaving him to look after the original suspect. I'll just hold down the fort over here, guys. Just JoJo pose my way in, okay. What should I do with this guy, sir? He might have some connection to the kidnapper. Should I bring him in? Huh? Oh, yeah, sure, that'd be swell. I'm on it! With the help of one of the remaining detectives, Kano brought the suspect back to the Shibuya precinct. Look, how many times we gotta go through this? Cut the crap. In the interrogation room, the young man, who gave his name as Achi Indo, Achi Indo, steadfastly insisted on his innocence. Why'd you try to steal that case? Kano watched Achi's face intently. Like I said, it looked heavy, so I was just trying to help her out. It wasn't inconceivable that a young guy would want to help a pretty girl. But Hitomi had just been standing there, hardly in desperate need of assistance. She hadn't set the case down, so I figured there had to be something important inside. An entry from Kano's Dick diary shot through his mind. Whoosh. Dictum. Dictum 25. When the tongue slips, grab it, and you yank out the truth. Classic advice for a questioning. Something important, you say? Such as? How the heck would I know? Achi spat. He huffed and slumped back in his chair. This standard textbook back and forth had been going on for nearly an hour. Kano didn't mind. Chasing down criminals was all good and well, but questioning suspects, that was another key part of the job. Plenty of off-the-scene work went into cracking a case. Once again, he had Achi explain what he had been doing, starting from the beginning. When Kano finally emerged from the interrogation room for a short break, he learned there had been some progress on the case at the crime scene. What the police hadn't been able to determine yet, however, was whether or not Maria was safe. Fighting back his anxiety, Kano consulted his Dick diary, as he did in all other times he was anxious, I should say. Dictum 54. Haste makes waste. Better drag out this interrogation for another few hours. He felt his tension subside. Remembering the right maxim always helped. It was like casting a magic spell. Kano returned to confront Achi once more. You were there to act as a distraction, to mess up the investigation, weren't you? Huh? Achi looked a bit dumbfounded, with eyes pointing in different directions. What are you on about? Dictum 55. The truth hungers to be free. You just turned the page for that one, huh? You hungry? Got some katsudon if you like. Japanese dish consisting of a bowl of white rice, topped with breaded pork cutlet and egg. There are several variations such as sauce katsudon, where the egg is replaced with Worcestershire sauce, I don't know about that, and miso katsudon, where pork is stewed in miso. Not typically the sort of thing a police officer offers a suspect during an interrogation, this could be seen as baiting with food and is to be avoided. To be avoided? I thought that was like a stereotype thing though, where if you like go to the jail over there, like, or the interrogation, they give you a bowl of food. I thought that was the whole thing. Achi nodded silently. Damn, that's egg. It actually kind of looks like a cheese sauce. That looks awesome. Is that a little bit of parsley on top, or is that cilantro? I can't tell. That looks so good though. Oh man. Achi devoured the bowl of katsudon with gusto. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a while. Alright then, spill it. What's this guy after? Is it another bowl of katsudon? Achi just shrugged. I don't know. He murmured, a thick slice of egg-laden pork between his teeth. Keep your mouth closed, like close your lips, dude. How many accomplices do you have? Kano asked. But Achi just shook his head as he inhaled his food. He resigningly, Kano flipped through his notebook once more. Like, man, how do I get this guy to talk? I need more quotes. 115? Let's see, number 115. Use the lights to your advantage. Oh, he's about to kamehameha this guy in his eyes, isn't he? As the minutes ticked past, he found himself referring to his book again and again, trying a dozen different methods to tease out whatever the suspect might be hiding. The experience began to feel strangely surreal, their two voices echoing hollowly in the interrogation room. Eventually, Kano looked at the clock and realized the questioning had been going on for nearly 5 hours. Well, haste makes waste, dude. Don't you remember that dictum? He still hadn't made any headway. Hey, slow down, dude. You're being too hasty. What was he supposed to do next? Katano would know, but he sure didn't. Still, he was determined to do whatever he could to keep the victim safe, and her family safe. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he pursued the Dick diary like it was scripture. Hey, this dude's so tired of this shit. Number 116. Oh, he actually was flipping through the pages for like the whole 5 hours and he's into the hundreds now? Is that what happened? The monotonous questioning was clearly tiring Achi out. His eyelids drooped like they were beginning to get heavy. Only now. 117. Number 117. Get them when they're tired. It took you. What, you just go through the whole book with with every suspect? Of course they would be tired by now. Kano's eyes gleam. Ka-ching! You're part of some criminal gang, huh? Achi's head slumped forward heavily. Nodding off was basically the same as nodding yes, right? Yeah, that is definitely police work right there. Mr. Kuze, I did it! The young guy we grabbed at the handoff site, he finally confessed to the crime. What? What are you talking about? Kuze laughed in disbelief. We're just about to apprehend the mastermind here. Huh? Kano clutched his cell phone, dumbstruck. Listen, why don't you, look, just wait there at HQ, okay? No, it can't be. I wasted all this time? Yeah, no, yeah, you did. Yeah. What, is he about to take that gun and shoot himself? I hope not. Dude, like, calm down. Calm down. That better not be a note. Calm down. Calm down. After the kidnapping case wrapped up, Kano tendered his resignation. Guess I'm not cut out to be a detective after all, he thought to himself. He dropped the Dick diary on his desk as he left Shibuya Precinct for the last time. Seems a bit dramatic. Bad in. Aww. So long, Shibuya. Kano wound up at a bad end. However, this does not mean that the choice you made for Kano was the wrong one. I didn't make any choices. What are you on, game? I didn't choose anything. One of the other protagonists, Achi Indo, has an impact on Kano's fate here. You can avoid a bad end by making proper decisions in another character's story. For a detailed hint, check the tip by underlining the bad end title. Press that button and then press that button. Select hint. Oh, it actually corrected itself now. Okay. It's actually square this time. Never mind, it was not. You can now select Achi Indo as one of the other protagonists. Let's follow Achi's story for a little while. Well, I'll follow Achi's story in the next one. This is very entertaining. I like it so far. It's only covered like barely even the intro into the story so far. It is just so mesmerizing. Like, it's pulled me in. I know that I'm gonna love this, but I gotta end this one here. I'd like to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll enjoy the next one as well. Goodbye. Goodbye.